And the majority of imports from Senegal are refined petroleum. The majority of exports to Senegal, gold, and then refined petroleum. So Senegal exports and imports refined petroleum. But the United States does not feature in their top five, be it exports, be it imports.
I am an African.
Do you have any idea as to why these five countries?
Um, I think, look, there's numerous reasons. These are not the traditional countries, as you said. This is normally you'd go for countries like South Africa, you go for countries
Yeah.
like Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, the
Ethiopia,
usual,
Kenya.
the
Yeah.
usual suspects um, because of their heavyweight, you know. And
Yeah.
Kenya is a major non-NATO ally last year. Um, South Africa, they already met, and we all know about that. We actually did a podcast on it. Um, and Egypt, I don't think they have met yet, at least on a bilateral level with Donald Trump. And so which other country did I mention? Nigeria. Nigeria, I don't think they have met yet as well. But Nigeria is normally considered an ally of the United States. They normally, I'm not saying they toe the line, but they have relatively good relations, although they have had migration issues. The U.S. doing their lot of immigration roundup and sending citizens back to their countries, those who are undocumented. Nigeria has had some pushback over that. I think I saw on the BBC, although I didn't read the story, but Nigeria, I think their minister said Nigeria has enough problems. We don't want the U.S. deportees. Those are like their own citizens. Like what?
Oh wow. Wow.
Anyway, but like,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know the full length of that story, so I can't really go that far. But yeah, just to show you how untraditional they are. They also are countries with relatively small populations. Gabon has around 2.5 million people. It's a Central African country on the western side, western coast. It has a lot of oil. Yeah. So Gabon, it recently had a coup with the Bongo family that was ruling Gabon for almost 50 years, if not more. And
That was the guy. Was that the guy who was like? I think there
make
were a
some
couple
noise.
make some noise meme.
To tell them to make noise, to make noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the guy, Ali Bongo, and now there's a military president who took over, and then he had an election, and he's no longer suspended by the AU. So it's sort of like back to the fold, back to normal, if you like. So Oligi, General Oligi went there, and then you have Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau's president went there. Guinea-Bissau is former. Wait, Conakry is French. Bissau is Portuguese. Yeah, Bissau is Portuguese. And President Sissoko went there. Let me just get his name right. As for Senegal, President Diomaye Faye was there. Senegal is maybe a bit more predictable. Normally, countries deal with Senegal. Senegal has had a lot of state visits historically. It's considered an anchor in West Africa. Many branches of international organizations are there. And that president also came on, I think, last year. We talked about his election when he came on. He beat, what's his name again? Macky Sall, after a series of, he's considered more Pan-African. He's considered not necessarily anti-French, but more of an independent Senegalese president and wants to reset the relationship with France. And so he is very adamant about value addition in minerals. He actually voiced that in the agreement, in the discussions over lunch with Trump. He's much younger. Trump actually said, "Oh, he's a pretty young guy. Actually, he looks rather young." So, yeah. Diomaye Faye, the president of Guinea-Bissau, I found out I just said his son name. His name is Umaro Sissoko Embalo. Yeah, Umaro Sissoko Embalo. So, Mauritania is also another country, a very big country in West Africa, but a small population. Their population is only about 5 million people, and its critical importance is around it's a vast sort of deserty country. It's got a lot of routes for migration, illegal migration into Western Sahara, or if you don't recognize Western Sahara,
Kind of looks
Morocco.
like Tatooine from Star Wars.
Right. So, and then you also have, yeah, I don't want to say about that, but so Mauritania has a lot of minerals in terms of iron. It has uranium, and the president is Mohamed Ould Ghazouani. Mauritania was previously the chair of the African Union. Um, so there's numerous aspects of why these countries are important. Yeah. So just
Yeah,
to wrap
because
up,
I
and then
mean,
Liberia. There's
we
Liberia also.
Liberia as well. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Joseph Boakai, who came on a couple of years ago, I think. Um, so these are actually relatively newish presidents. Even Mauritania's president is quite new. These are quite new presidents.
Yeah.
There are two different regions of Africa. One is ECOWAS, then one is the Central African Economic Community. That's the Central African regional body. That's only Gabon, Liberia, Guinea Bissau, Mauritania, and Senegal, part of ECOWAS. And Senegal. So these are all very interesting picks. They're very different. They're different regions, and I think the United States has picked them primarily for security, mineral, and to a lesser extent, migration concerns. And yeah, I think that's the main gist, and also a potential rival to China. The majority of them have relationships with China. And if I can just go over the trade statistics, if we look at Senegal, right? If you look at Senegal, Senegal trades primarily to the major export destinations for Senegal were Mali, India, Switzerland, China, and the United Arab Emirates. Okay, so China is included in there. Now, let's look at Liberia. Liberia, by the way, is a former, someone got upset when I commented that Liberia is a former colony of the United States. But essentially, they were, in a technical way,
Sort of.
they were
Sort
formed they were formed when President James Monroe was president of the United States in 1827. By the American Colonization Society. The idea was to free black slaves and send them to Africa. Sierra Leone is similar, but it's more of a British slaves being freed. So they went to Liberia and Freetown. No, not Freetown. Sorry, I'm talking about Sierra Leone. Now that's Sierra Leone, Freetown. Monrovia. Monrovia was named after the president who presided over that establishment of the Liberian territory, and Monrovia is the capital city of Liberia. So the freed slaves found a lot of natives, obviously. There was no necessarily unified state in what is now Liberia. It was mostly chiefdoms, confederations, and other small clans, primarily with people like the Gru, the Mandinka, no, not the Gru, sorry, the Kru, KRU, yeah, and 16 other ethnic groups. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Liberia is the historical ally of the United States. It's the oldest independent African country, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just wanted to find out because we were talking a lot about minerals and trade, trade not aid sort of doctrine. That's, I think, kind of been adopted by the Trump administration because they've dissolved, a lot of, officers of USAID, and it seems like he's focusing more on making deals with these countries. But from your perspective, do you see these as sort of like win-win partnerships, or do you think these are more like sophisticated mineral grabs? I think there was something about Gabon's potash deal as compared to the other U.S. interventions. Like, do you see this as a win-win partnership, or more so like a mineral grab, sophisticated mineral grab?
The U.S. has moved its foreign policy from one that is primarily around aid and sending aid through USAID, as you mentioned, which has got significant cuts. But yeah, no, they've moved from aid and they have shifted to investment focused and mineral focused, critical minerals particularly, which Africa has a plethora of. And as you said, there's a lot of minerals, not only in Gabon, Guinea Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal. Gabon, primarily oil, oil. There's a lot of manganese, iron ore, timber, and untapped uranium. Guinea-Bissau has a lot of bauxite, phosphate, oil, but there's also a lot of political uncertainty there. The country had a failed coup attempt a few years ago, and they are not that far from the coup belt. Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, those guys, and Guinea-Conakry. So Liberia, on the other hand, has iron ore, has lithium, useful for electric vehicles, cobalt, useful of anything electronic, uranium, and they also have a $3 billion investment goal. Mauritania has iron, copper, gold, gas, and a lot of rare earths, which is useful for things like semiconductors, which Taiwan actually has a very good hold of. Senegal has a lot of phosphates, a lot of gold, and also offshore oil and gas. So these are all critical minerals that the United States is interested in, and that China, unfortunately, or actually not even unfortunately, it's unfortunate if you are putting American interests first. It's fortunate if you're putting Chinese interests first. Gabon is a massive oil producer. The largest export for Gabon is crude petroleum and manganese. And guess who their major export destination is?
USA?
Yeah, it's China.
Yeah. Oh, China. Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's China. So China, it exports its total exports were around 11.3 billion, of which 3 billion went to China and 185 billion went to the United States. So the United States has a very steep hill to climb. And actually Israel actually beats the US in terms of export destination. The most common destination of exports of Gabon are China, Indonesia, Spain, and Israel, and the Republic of Congo. Yeah, crude petroleum, manganese, special purpose ships, wood, and refined petroleum. So petroleum was mentioned twice. Guinea-Bissau is mostly agriculture, coconut, Brazil nuts. What are Brazil nuts? I don't know.
Good question. Yeah.
And cashew nuts, which I love. Maybe I'll go to Guinea-Bissau for cashew nuts. So those are the most exports, and so mostly agricultural products, fish oil, and that's actually an interesting aspect, the piracy issue. Fishing is a big issue in that region, the Gulf of Guinea. Fishing and piracy issues, because fishing also contributes to the causes of migration.
Overfishing.
Yeah, overfishing. Migration into Europe is one of the causes of migration into Europe. But then there's also piracy of huge ships. And Nigeria has done some progressive work there, but it's still not something that Nigeria can do alone. So many of them are looking at the United States to help them in security and in strengthening security technology on tackling piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. The Gulf of Guinea is in West Africa, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So just going back on the exports.
Sorry.
Guinea-Bissau mainly their major export is India and Chile and Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. In what country? In Liberia, their main export destination is China. Again, number one is China, Japan, Germany, Brazil, and Cote d'Ivoire. The main export destination is Switzerland, United Kingdom, France, Germany. Imports mostly come from China. Senegal, major export destinations, Mali, India, as I mentioned, Switzerland, China again. So all of the top five have China involved in one way or another in terms of export destinations. and many of it is
Yeah.
raw materials, be it agriculture or minerals. Major exports of Senegal. So for Senegal, actually, exports and imports, the top 5 features China. Yeah. And the majority of imports from Senegal are refined petroleum. The majority of exports to Senegal, gold, and then refined petroleum. So Senegal exports and imports refined petroleum. But the United States does not feature in their top 5. Be it exports, be it imports. So the United States really is trying to catch up with China.